Welcome to Shaugat Ali Sagor Live. We usually host this program every Wednesday night. Sometimes, in the case of special program, special occasion, we bring it during the day. Today is such a special program, and we have a special personality as a guest today. Senator Mobina Jafer has introduced a bill to recognize 21st February, a national holiday in Canada, on the occasion of International Mother Language Day. She is joining us to talk about the bill. I would like to welcome Senator Mobina Jafer to this discussion and express our gratitude for sparing your time from the busy schedule to share your valuable thoughts with Bangladeshi community in Canada. Welcome, Senator Mobina Jafer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sagar, for giving me this opportunity. It is I who thank you for giving me this amazing opportunity to connect with the Bangladeshi community who have always supported me on many things, but on this bill especially. And so it's an honor to be speaking to you.
Thank you so much. Dear friends, 21st February, it is not merely a day in the calendar. It is the root of the Bengali nationalism and an independent country, Bangladesh. 21st February is the most memorable annual day in the history of Bangladesh. It is a national day with a public holiday to commemorate the sacrifices and protests to protect Bangla as the national language in 1952, at the time of the movement of Bengali language. The world now recognizes it as the International Mother Language Day and observe worldwide to promote the awareness of the cultural diversity, linguistic, and multilingualism. Canada also has recognized the day as International Mother Language Day. But Canadian Senator Mobina Jafer has thought differently. She came forward with a bill in the House of Commons, Senate, to recognize International Mother Language Day on February 21st as a Canadian holiday. We will hear from her what prompted her to introduce this bill, why she thought that International Mother Language Day should be a Canadian holiday. Those who have joined with us, you are welcome to ask any question or share your thoughts during the discussion. Let me to tell brief about Senator Mobina Jafer. I know she has a long history, she has a long career, but I'll be brief. Senator Mobina Jafer represents the province of British Columbia in the Senate of Canada. Appointed to the Senate on June 13, 2001, she is the first Muslim senator, the first African-born senator, and the first senator of South Asian descent. She was the first South Asian woman to practice law in Canada. The Women's Executive Network named Senator Jafer among Canada's top 100 most powerful women in 2003 and 2004. Let us start with your story, Senator Jafer. A girl born in Uganda, serving as a Canadian senator, contributing in the field of human rights, peace, women affairs, whatnot. Tell us the journey of the South Asian girl who became one of the 100 powerful women of Canada and still working as a powerful woman. Senator
Wow, you really humble me. I've just had amazing opportunities. I've just had amazing parents who have supported me and been there for me and always directed me from when I was a little girl that I didn't, I wasn't put into. I have 5 sisters, and we were never put into category of we'll get married and then we'll be the housewife. We were not even taught a lot to cook. Now we keep saying, I wish my mom was a very good cook. Why she didn't teach us all the great dishes like biryani and stuff that she made. We don't do it as well as she does. We cook, but not as well. And so I was always encouraged to find my own path. And so I became a lawyer. And in my day, many years ago, there were not many lawyers. I'm the first South Asian woman lawyer to practice in Canada. And so it was a very, it was sort of a time when there weren't many South Asian women lawyers, or none when I started practicing. And so I've had, because of the journey I took, I've had many opportunities. And I was also very involved with the Liberal Party. I was the vice president of the National Liberal Party for many years. And then I was the president of the Women's Commission for many years. And so I've had opportunities along the way, and I've had great encouragement from our community, from my parents, from my husband and children. And I'm also blessed to have this position, and I'm very humbled by your question.
Thank you so much. First of all, we would like to express our thanks to you for introducing the bill and act to recognize International Mother Language Day on February 21st as a Canadian holiday. We Bangladeshi people observe 21st February as a national day and a holiday in Bangladesh. What prompted you to introduce the bill? What was your inspiration behind it?
So, my journey, as you were asking, is my grandparents came to Uganda now over 100 years ago. And while we were in Uganda, and, all the years I was in Uganda, I learned my mother language. I learned Kutchi, I learned Gujarati, I learned Hindi, and of course I learned Swahili because I'm from Uganda. And those were given. And then when I came here, and to my shock, my children don't speak those languages so well. And I, of course, blame myself because I insisted that speak my mother tongue at home, but then there was no other opportunity. And as time went on and they went to university, they remember a little bit of it, but they don't. And my anxiety was that my grandparents were in Africa for over 100 years, and we didn't lose our mother tongue. And in the few years that we have been in Canada, we lost our mother tongue, literally have lost it. And my anxiety is that if a person loses his or her mother tongue, you lose your identity, you lose who you are. And it's exceptionally important to me that you be grounded in your identity, because without your identity, you're a lost soul. And so that's why I've introduced this bill many times. The previous time it almost went to committee, and it was going to be studied in committee, and then we had an election. And then again, I introduced it, and the same thing happened now. This time I'm really, really hoping that this bill at least goes to the House of Commons and gets through.
Sure. When you were talking about if you lose your mother language, you lose your identity. Yes, you know about our struggle, our fight to get recognized our language as a state language in 1952. Would you comment on Bangladeshi culture and Bangladeshi struggle to get recognized Bengali language and Bengali culture?
So in 1952, I was very young, but I remember how passionate my dad was about what was happening in Bangladesh. And then later on with the struggles with Rehman and the other leaders, and I recently met with his daughter, who is now the president of Bangladesh. My father used to talk a lot to us about Bangladesh and Bangladeshi struggle, but he also used to talk about the great strength of the language, of Bangladeshi language. And it's not that I knew how to speak it, but he would talk about the writings, he would talk about the poetry, and then sometimes when we went to hear ghazals, even people would translate it. So the Bengali uh, culture and language was very strong in our sense of growing up as to how to be proud of who we were. We took it as part of our heritage. That's how my father brought us up.
So you have introduced the bill to recognize 21st February as a Canadian holiday. So far we know, and you mentioned a little ago, you had introduced another bill in the Senate, an act to establish International Mother Language Day. That bill was probably dropped. This time you came up with another bill to recognize 21st February as a Canadian holiday. We know from the parliamentary record, since 2007, there were few more bills, both in the House of Commons and Senate. You, former MP Matthew Calloway, another MP introduced separate bills, and all were regarding International Mother Language Day. But as of today, none of the bill I think was passed. Why is that?
There are many challenges. I don't think the government is very keen on this bill. So I know I have an uphill battle. And uh, in some quarters, not many, but in some quarters, it's seen as a challenge to our bilingualism. And I say this all the time in my speeches and everything. It is not a challenge to bilingualism. It is strengthening bilingualism. Because if there is the absolute love for the language of your own mother tongue, it encourages you to speak more. And so I believe that the more languages you know, for example, all of us who are listening, we grew up with many, many languages around us. And we don't see anything untoward in a person speaking many languages. And here we live in silos. You either speak English or you speak French. And so I believe the strength of Canada is if Canadians speak many languages. And the reason for Mother Language Day is it's not a day for holiday, but it's a day to raise awareness in Parliament, in places all around, how important it is that we have mother language. And my desire is that also with the importance of how important mother language is, it'll encourage parents to make sure, grandparents like me, to make sure our grandchildren and children speak our mother tongues.
Sure, you are also grandmother, so it is always lovely to spend time with grandchildren and speaking their own language, own culture, and everything like that. Would you kindly explain what is the procedure to announce a certain day as a public holiday in Canada?
So basically, if this bill will, it won't give it a public holiday, but it'll recognize it like we have the Black History Month, or it'll recognize it as a day when mother language is recognized. So it won't be a holiday as such, but it'll be a day when it'll be called the Mother Language Day. And I dream of that because I think it's so important that let me give you an example. Yesterday, my granddaughter, unfortunately with COVID, we can only speak from far, and she was standing at the door and she was far away and she was speaking, and she was speaking in English, and then suddenly she used one or two words of Kutchi, and because that was the best way in which she could get the idea across, and she was trying to what do you call it, get across to me that Dadima, that this was with her word, and it made me really think that there are some words in our languages that even a child of 5 or 6 knows that you have to use that word to get across to your grandmother what the point you are trying to make. And so it's really important. It's a communication thing, but also I truly believe that if you speak your mother tongue, you have very grounded identity. Like believe my parents gave me a very grounded identity, which I sadly didn't give to my children as much, because around us here, our languages are not spoken like they were at home. And so that's nothing you can do about. No bill is going to change that. But at least if there's recognition that mother language is important, that's the first step.
Uh, I have a question here. I want to bring it in front of you. I think you can read it, right? Appreciate Senator Mobina Jafer's initiative and the advocacy for the International Mother Language Day as a special day. Also, great to know a bit of her life journey. In this regard, if she can say a few words, how women folk can follow this path and engage themselves in the mainstream politics.
So, first of all, for people who are interested, call me. Doesn't matter what party you want to join. Call me if I can help any woman or anybody to get involved in the political process. I absolutely will help. And then the second thing is that people will laugh. But when I first came to this country, I was a refugee, and I'm a refugee from Uganda. And when I came here, I was standing in the lineup at the grocery store and started talking to somebody, and she was a liberal. And before I knew it, I was invited to a liberal meeting, and before I knew it, I got very involved. And what I learned from that, and what I want to share with everybody, is that when you attend a political meeting, in the sense of a locally organized political meeting, there are always tasks to do. And in the beginning, may have been just making tea or doing anything. Any job that would be available, I would do it. Any job, whether bringing cookies, whether cleaning up afterwards. And then because I was a lawyer, I was given jobs to write resolution. And at that time, I was writing resolutions on pension, and I was a mother with a small baby of 2 years, and I was thinking, pension, I hardly have money to feed my child. How am I going to ever? I mean, pension is like at that time along. Now I'm pension age, and I'm thinking at that time I was thinking, what am I doing writing about rights for women's pension, which was then instituted? And so so I'm saying to anybody that's interested, don't hesitate. Join, join, join. If you join and if you get involved, you get heard, and get involved, get committed. And if I can help anybody in their journey, please call me.
And if I ask you, what are the challenges for immigrant people or people who are coming from other countries to Canada to join politics or to join mainstream any initiative or to settle themselves in the mainstream arena? How you will explain that?
So for me, there are always challenges, and there were more challenges, when I joined many, 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 many years ago. But because at that time there weren't that many people of different colors in our country. But now things have completely changed, and depend where you live, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I never think that my father brought me up. Never think that, oh, I don't belong. Decide what you want, and then just go for it. Don't think, oh, they won't accept me, blah. I enter a room and I decide that I belong here. And I want to share something with you,
Sure.
with all of you. A few weeks ago I was just like this, speaking at something, and that the host said to me, how do you feel about your adopted country? And there was a silence, and he kept looking at me, and I didn't know what he was talking about, because this is not my adopted country anymore. This is my country. And so
Okay.
I say to everybody, this is your country, and it is up to you how you want to progress. It's up to you how you want to uh, establish yourself in your country. You can decide to be a visitor, you can decide to be a guest, or you can decide to be a citizen. And I highly, highly encourage you all, become citizens, because you are here. This is your country. You have decided to stay here. And together we will build a stronger Canada for our children and grandchildren. So get involved. Don't let anybody tell you it's hard. It isn't hard. In Canada, that's the beauty. As I told you, a refugee from from Uganda. And when I returned to Uganda, I was the peace envoy from Canada as a senator to the Sudan. And I went to Uganda, and the president of Uganda asked me, says, the Canadians are really, really weird. How does this work? We threw you out, and you return here as a Canadian to tell us what to do. How does that work? How does this happen? And I was so proud to say that in Canada, you can become, or anywhere else, but more so in Canada, you can become anything you want, and don't let anybody stop you. This bill, I don't even forget how many times I've introduced it. Yeah, I have faced challenges, but I'm not frightened of challenges. Maybe somebody else will have to finish the work I've started because it may not get through. But I want to say to you that I don't start off saying, oh, what if I don't succeed? I start off saying, this is what I want to do, and I keep looking at ways to do it.
Well, so many important things you have discussed. I hope our people will be benefited and they will follow your advice. And now, again, if we go back to our previous discussion and we concentrate on the bill, it is 1 year, almost 1 year has passed that you have introduced the bill in the Senate. What will be the next procedure?
So
What actually is needed to pass the bill?
So at the moment, I'm even waiting. This is the third time I'm introducing this bill, and I would have had a lot more progress if it had not been for COVID. But because of COVID, we are only discussing government bills, and I'm really, really hoping that next week I will have an opportunity. So in a bill, you first table it, and then there's second reading, and then it goes to committee to be studied. Then it comes back, and then you have third reading. So I'm again at second reading, and I'm really hoping soon, next week, that we can, after some of the senators have spoken, send it to committee. At the moment, I'm dreaming because with COVID, things are not so certain. But I'm really, really hoping that this bill will go through soon from the Senate.
So we can hope, though we have passed so many times and you are trying over and over with this bill, so this time we can hope that it will go further and we will see that your dream and your initiative is materialized in Canada.
Well, so I ask people who are listening, obviously you're listening because you're very passionate about this issue. I ask you to write letters to the Prime Minister to say the time has arrived, that there has to be a recognition of mother language, a day of recognition for mother language. And so please reach out to the Prime Minister and write to him, because we all on this call, on this, we all want to recognize the roots, our roots, our roots. Without our roots, we are not on sound grounds. And that's what I'm fighting for.
Obviously, our people, mostly Bangladeshi people, they will be with you with your fight because this is our fight as well. But one thing, when I was reading the bill you have tabled in the Senate, you have mentioned in today's discussion, you have mentioned about upholding the heritage, upholding the culture, upholding the roots. But I personally did not find any reference or any mentioning of, because International Mother Language Day, so far history reveals that the struggle of Bangladesh for their mother language, and our friends from Vancouver, where you are from, they actually approached UN to recognize 21st February as International Mother Language Day. But in your bill, there is no mention of Bangladesh or Bangladeshi culture or Bangladeshi struggle or Bangladeshi history. Why is that? And can we expect that in your next presentation in the Senate or any point of time, the struggle of Bangladesh, history of Bangladesh will be included in your presentation or in the bill?
Well, I have mentioned how the love of the language, and I have mentioned how Bangladeshi. Every time I have spoken, I have mentioned that how much there is a love for the recognition from the Bangladeshi community. But I don't want. I have not so far, and now that you are suggesting it, I will give it more thought.
And another question I just bring up to you. Please let us know how we may fight together.
Well, yes, I will let you know right now. Write to the Prime Minister. You can't write often enough. Write to the Prime Minister as many times as you can while this bill is going through. Is that we need this bill now. Please, please reach out to him. Please write to him. I need your help. This is an uphill battle. I have introduced this bill many times, and it's not a government bill; it's a private members bill. And private members bill, I know the struggle. I just got the Girl Guides bill, another private members bill I was working on through recently, and it took me 3 years to do it. And this bill has taken me even longer. And but I'm determined to get it through. But I won't be able to do it without support from the Bangladeshi community.
Friends, we were talking to Senator Mobina Jafer, who has introduced a bill to House of Commons Senate to recognize 21st February International Mother Language Day as a Canadian holiday and to get recognition from the federal government for whole Canada. We are almost concluding our program. I know you are so busy. What will be your concluding remarks regarding your effort to get recognition of the International Mother Language Day as a Canadian holiday? Also, if you want to say something for the Bangladeshi community in Canada.
So first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me and helping me speak on this issue that's very close to my heart. So thank you so much. And then, I want to reach out to everybody and say that nothing is done alone. We have to work as a community. We achieve nothing on our own. It has to be with community. And so come help me. Come write to the Prime Minister. Many provinces have recognized Mother Language Bill, Mother Language Day, and Canada hasn't. And so I would say, come join me, come work with me, and together we will write to your members of parliament, write to your senators, but most importantly, write to the Prime Minister that he needs to make this an issue of his own. I don't mind if he takes over. I would be glad that it becomes a government bill.
Thank you so much, Senator Jafer. Friends, we were talking with Senator Mobina Jafer. She has introduced a bill to Canadian Parliament to get recognition of 21st February, International Mother Language Day, as a Canadian holiday. She explained her journey, why she introduced the bill, what is the next procedure, and what we need to do to get her initiative materialized in Canada. She has requested all of us, the Bangladeshi community, to join with her fight, to write letters to our representative in the constituency, to write letter to the Prime Minister of Canada. Obviously, we will join this fight. Obviously, we will extend our hand in support of her fight, because this is not the fight she's fighting for herself. This is our fight. This is for immigrant, and not only Bangladeshi people, immigrants coming from the different part of the world to Canada. It is a total fight for the immigrant people. Obviously, we will extend our hand. And Senator Jafer, thank you so much for giving your time and sharing your valuable thoughts with us. Hope I will invite you again some other time when the bill is passed and when it is recognized in the Canadian procedure, the Canadian Parliament. We hope that we will share that joy together again.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you. Thank you.